Good evening, and we have a special evening edition of Legally Marette, Legally Raven Haired. Still trying to figure out what we're going to call ourselves, but this is going to be our second episode of Questions Lay People Ask. How can an existing farmstead be used to maximize property value? So let's talk about the situation. We have the situation of a widow wants to sell a house that was owned by her husband's family for more than 50 years. The property consists of a farmhouse on 18 acres. The local zoning requirements say that there is a 35-acre minimum lot size. A local real estate professional estimates the total value of the property is between 235,000 and 245,000, and the value of the acreage is 7,000 to 8,000 per acre. The house is free of any liens and encumbrances, and the widow seeks to maximize profit from the sale of the property. I need to fix this and here. The video details how the farmstead how using the existing farmstead exemption can increase the property value. So let's just take a minute here and we are going to look at the law here. So we see here, here's frequently asked questions. This property is located in, I believe it's pronounced Codington, South Dakota. And it says that in agricultural zoning district, which this is required to have 35 acres, while the commercial or industrial zoning districts, you may have 10 acres, and the Lake Park district, 2 acres. So this property is in the agricultural district. So you have to have 35 acres lot size, which is a huge lot size, but we're dealing in a rural area. So let's go back here. What is a farmstead? So let's start by understanding what a farmstead is, right? That's a good question. An existing farmstead shall include a livable house occupied by the owner or tenant within the last 3 years and shall have been existing on the site for at least 5 years. So the property has to be the building has to be lived been there for 5 years, and the current owner or tenant has to have lived there for the past 3 years, and the site shall have been used in the past as a farmstead for normal farming operation. In addition, the Board of Adjustment, which is the Codington County Zoning Board, may consider defining an identifiable parcel as an existing farmstead if the proposed site meets the following criterion: evidence that the proposed site was used for human habitation within the last 50 years. This may be determined by existence of buildings or foundations, or two, evidence that the proposed site was used as a farmstead supporting normal farming operations prior to October 26, 1976. Information regarding the location of the floodplain, access to roads and utilities, and other appropriate site information may be considered by the Board of Adjustment in determining the suitability of a parcel for development. So here we have a link to the Codington County zoning laws. And when we follow that link, we see here, if we just do a quick search for farmstead, this is where it's taken from. This is what an existing farmstead is. All right, now let's go back here and let's continue. We know what our situation is. We know what a farmstead is. And now we're going to talk about how an existing farmstead can increase property value. So there's two ways that this can be done. We have the A and then the B. The A is where a permit for an additional single family farm dwelling is requested on an existing farmstead, provided that the dwelling is located on the same legal description as the existing farmstead. The maximum number of dwelling units within the existing farmstead will not exceed 2. The dwelling is occupied by employees or relatives of the farm owner. Or 4, the additional single family farm dwelling shall be removed in the event the structure becomes a non-farm dwelling. So this is for, mom, dad on the property, daughter wants to build it, or maybe daughter owns it. You have aging relatives, you want to build another house. That's what this is for. This is not the situation. She is looking to subdivide the property so she can sell the farmland separate from the house. So let's look at B. When an existing farmstead is to be divided from adjacent farmland into a single separate parcel of 5 acres or more. So you can take the house and you can have the house on 5 acres, and then the entire property is 18 acres. So then you have 13 acres that could be sold separately. And so that is what we're trying to do here. And we see that also is here in the zoning laws, where we can search for farmstead again. Going to be down here, and here we go. And that's where this is taken from. The Board of Adjustment may allow similar minimum lot requirements for an agricultural district under the following conditions. So this is when they can allow a smaller lot size. All right, so there we have that. Now let's move to the next part of this, and it is how to divide the property. So now that we know that we can do it, we need to see how we can do it. So the first thing that you want to do is apply for the conditional use permit application. And we see this is here, very simple application to fill out. You have the applicant's name, address, the owner, and then you have to give the legal description, which you should be able to find in the county records, the general street address, and then what you would like to do, a signature of the applicant, and then a sketch of the proposed property shall accompany this application showing the dimensions of the proposed structure, the street names, other information as requested, a location of proposed structure on lot, dimensions, front, back, setbacks, location of the adjacent existing building. So this is something that you could try to do yourself, right? So here is a sketch instruction sheet if you want to try to put that together. I haven't seen an example of one. Maybe if we look online, we can find an example of one just to see how official they are. And we can try to see if we can find that. Let's just take a quick look here and see. Let's see, sketch in sketch. Let's see, sketch of proposed property. Sketch of proposed property and conditional use permit, Codington. So this is one, let's see if this is. This actually came from the, no, this is something different. We'll have to see if we can actually find a sketch of what that is going to look like. Let's see. So I don't see any of the applications. I don't know if that's public record. It probably is public record, but I don't know if it's available online. That's a better way to describe it. So we have the conditional use permit application. Then you meet with the Codington County Board Planning Commission to seek approval to create a 5-acre lot. You need to fix this typo here. We see here, this is the September 24th meeting minutes from the Board of Approval. And if we just search Farmstead, we see a few people actually did get the Farmstead exemption granted in an agriculture district. So you see here, Alberta Ingalls by John Ingalls. They sought to create a lot of less than 35 acres on the site of an existing farmstead. And then they gave the rationale for why they would like to do it. And you see here that the staff, they recommended a variance, existing farmstead exemption and variance to minimum lot width approval request because one, the lot does contain at least 5 acres, which meets the term of the ordinance, and two, the zoning officer, after review of anecdotal information, records, and site visit, has determined that this parcel is under contiguous ownership of an existing farmstead or residential site prior to October 26, 1976. So it's approved. It should be done on the following conditions. The applicant shall plat a lot of at least 5 acres in accordance with the Codington County subdivision ordinance. So you see that this was approved, and that's what needs to be done here. So first you get approval, and then it needs to be platted. How do you plat it? You hire a surveyor. One surveyor that we found here that's very popular is Mac Land Surveying. Here is Manta for 2022. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's saying that minimum cost between $239 to $900. I had a survey done a few years ago for something not the same, but similar. It was about $1,200. It actually was more than a few years ago. Now that I think about it, it probably was about, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, but it was in a major metropolitan area. So once that is done, then you apply for plat approval from the Codington Zone Board. And if we look back at these minutes, we do see here that there was a plat that was approved. Yeah, so And so then you go back here and you see the Codington County Planning Commission, they actually approved the plat. So that's what you need to do to split the land in two so that you can sell the house separately with on 5 acres and then have 13 acres of farmland done. You really need to get a professional survey for this because the surveyor is going to be able to look at the land and help you understand the best way to divide the land. And you also want input from your real estate professional so your real estate professional can let you know really what's going to make it most marketable. So those are the things you really need to consider when trying to survey the land. And if there are any utilities or anything like that on the property, which in this case, yeah, which in this case could happen, then we need to, we need to make sure that that we get that accomplished. All right, so that is the end of this video on how you do plat approval, or how you split land using a farmstead exemption. Thank you. Tune in next time.